dollar facility from the World Bank to be able to permanently address the perennial flooding and poor sanitation challenges in and around the Odo drains. Speaking on the state of the country's major drains, including the Conti project and others, Mr. Atacha enumerated a number of flood-prone areas expected to benefit from the World Bank facility.
So when you are given a permanent fix to such an Asian problem, it takes a lot of feasibility, analysis, and work to give it the best product you want to have. And also, it's a money issue. The World Bank has had to appreciate the fact that we didn't need 100 million to do this. And when we really pushed them that to give it a permanent fix so that at the end of the day, Ghana can rest for a long time, they've increased it to 200 million. And $200 million, we believe, will be able to sort of contain the kind of things that we are going through now. And give ourselves next year, we'll be able to tackle the outdoor challenges.
What will it cover specifically?
It will cover a situation in which you have all manner of, rains coming from the mountains, you see, and then you have the floods coming from the mountains. People believe that the floods are just from Accra here. The floods of the mountains will just run to Accra. So we have what we call detention ponds. These detention ponds are arrangements to sort of contain, the floods from the north, from the mountains, and then also to ensure that the major channels are taken care of, and then it dovetails in the Kole Lagoon, and it's properly taken care of. And when we are able to do that, we'll see a very fundamental change in what is happening in Ghana.
You know what? You know the challenge I have? When you are tracing that water line from the mountains,
yes,
you pass through Ayimensa, places like Ayimensa,
yes,
your Adentes, your Nabis. There are a number of landowners there that have green belts, that have buffers, that have bare land, fallow land.
Yes.
Why are we not negotiating with them so that we can use some of that fallow land as receptacles for the water that's coming down in the interim?
We have done that, and as part of the 200 million United States dollars, we are going to compensate them for using these places for retention ponds.
Where will the retention ponds be?
We'll have some in even the Pantan area and the Ayimensa that you mentioned, and even the space in Legon. We've had a very good conversation with the authorities in Legon to give us a big space to retain some of these volumes of water.
Within the University of Ghana enclave?
It's outside the University of Ghana enclave.
Where?
But they have a land beyond that. The University of Ghana, if they are persuaded that we should capture that space of land for retention ponds, and then it will sort of reduce the velocity of the flow.
Expressing condolences to families who lost relatives in the recent flooding in Accra, the sector minister urged persons living in waterlogged areas to move to higher grounds and reduce the incidence of deaths resulting from the floods. He urged continuous community desilting of drains to help reduce the impact of floods, but maintained that will not permanently fix the problem.
It doesn't help the nation to desilt and then the fault is back and desilt. We could have applied the monies to better areas. That's why I'm saying that we're working towards a permanent fix. I encourage community desilting. Even without the governmental help, I believe that it is right and appropriate that every community can wake up to their responsibility, that we are being messed up because of the way the drains are, and on our own accord, we can get shovels and do it. Doing anything which is community-based is God-honoring, and they should continue with that process. I encourage that. We'll come and applaud them for that.
But when your agencies are frustrating them, when they went to and your agencies told them that they cannot help?
Well, I do not know the serious municipality that will say that somebody is coming to your aid and will frustrate him. I will check, because these are matters I bring to the notice of the local government minister who has the
there was also hydrological survey, which is under you.
No. He's saying that they didn't come to the hydrological service and we didn't help them.
I heard him. He said he mentioned hydrological service.
He said rather I went to the municipality. Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, that's what he said. He never said an agency under me frustrated them, that will be out of order. So we'll look at it. I will check on the greater estate challenges, and I will see what I will do about it. I think these are the issues that have come up. But finally, what is very important is that my heart goes out to the bereaved family, people who have died as a result of the disaster we are going through. But I crave the indulgence of Ghanaians that if your area is so risky and dangerous, you shouldn't dare the system. Please move from harm's way. But we'll do our very best to mitigate the situation. And the president is committed to the permanent fix, and we are on it. We have a very serious challenge. And that serious challenge, we should have a comprehensive fix. We do not have all the money in the world to give it a comprehensive fix, but we are going gingerly to addressing it. If we take a very bold stand that, look, let's go ahead and get huge sums of money to expedite the process, we could do so. And I've told you, and I keep saying that, these are gargantuan capital-intensive projects. Look at just Odo. Odo is not Ghana. And if Odo is eating away $200 million, what are we going to do about it if we don't get the political will and get serious money to do what matters? And this is what we are doing.
For someone sitting in his office or sitting in traffic listening to us right now, what if he asks you that you told me I have 200 million to desilt drains, including Obechebitu Circle?
Yes.
6 months later, someone dies, and then we say that we need more money before we can solve the problem. That's mathematics, Mr. Tachia.
Now, you're confusing desilting with permanent fix. That is what we should do. You see, nobody,
permanent fix
the one who is listening to us should understand this. You see, if you want to desilt as a ritual, we can have some of these challenges. But if we are serious as a nation that we want to do something which is a permanent fix, which the president has started, I'm telling you that what we are talking about will be something of Asian origin. We'll come back sitting here talking about, oh, they gave you the money. Some people even said they got the contracts. Now they should move to side. They are being persuaded. We're pushing them to side. They go and do the desilting. But the desilting, as I've told you, my brother, I don't want to sort of,
belabor that point.
It's a palliative, and it's just not what is going to help us eventually.
Away from that story, former President John Dramani Mahama has predicted a fall in the quality of education at both junior and senior high school levels due to excessive investments in the free senior high school program. He said education in the country is bound to suffer if the government continues to expend all its financial resource on the free SHS policy at the expense of basic and tertiary education. According to him, the government has neglected the public basic school system, making it unattractive for many Ghanaians. Speaking at a lecture series organized by the opposition National Democratic Congress NDC at the University of Cape Coast on the state of education in Ghana Thursday evening, the former president said the government must swallow its pride, stop gagging teachers, and engage stakeholders to fine-tune its educational policies.
The ability to even understand the concepts that the teacher is trying to impart. And that is why our constitution writers said there shall be free compulsory university basic education 10 years after the promulgation of this constitution. Even for basic education, which is cheaper. Our constitution writers gave 10 years to prepare for it. And so successive governments from NDC-1 through President Kufuor's time began the preparation for F-Cube. Teaching and learning materials were procured, science laboratories were built for basic schools and workshops, tools were acquired. And so the infrastructure and the tools and learning aids and the training of instructors, technical instructors, was all done over that period before the F-Cube was launched. So that's the basic level. Then you come to the secondary level, and somebody says, even though the constitution says you should do it progressively, I'll do it in 3 years. And that is the issue that we're pointing at. If you have a leg the thigh is supposed to be bigger than the calf. If the calf becomes bigger than the thigh, then it means there's sickness in the leg. Because if you are spending most of your money on secondary education and less on tertiary and basic, then there's something wrong with your educational system. And so the government has budgeted 2 billion cedis for free SHS for this academic year. If you have 2 billion more to spend on education, will you spend all of it on free SHS so that even when people can afford to pay, you don't have to pay? Because today there's no system where if my child goes to a public secondary school and I can afford to pay, there's no system for me to pay. And so that ad hoc approach to education is something that is dangerous.
Well, former Minister of Education under the Mahama administration, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has been explaining the pillars the NDC used in building the education sector. She was also speaking at that lecture at UCC Thursday evening.
We focus on quality, relevant education, and we saw these as fundamental human rights, and we also saw education as a public good. And if it is a public good, you have to craft your programs differently. Of our areas of concentration were the deprived districts. You know, Ghana had isolated 75 of them. So we decided to focus on them because we were working in a party that is founded on social democratic principles, ensuring parity, equity, all-rounded development by highlighting the most important resource any nation can have, which is the people. And we also decided to build education from the bottom up, and hence our focus on the deprived districts. We created, adopted, practiced, and maintained an atmosphere of tolerance. Nowhere did we dismiss a headmaster or threaten to dismiss one for expressing dissenting views. Actually, we created a committee which the ministry never had. And this committee met with the minister every quarter. And who were the participants? All the unions in education. We met on a quarterly basis because we thought everyone should feel part of any decision we were making. Everyone should help us to determine the issues, whether they are burning or simmering or cold, and collectively solve them. When some had been palpably wrong, as in pretending there was no chalk in the school, when we knew that they had so many, they had too many in their storeroom, that was a false story.
Still live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Dazi. We move from the politics, and at least 120 rural farmers in the Boko West district of the Upper East region have gone into dry season farming following the implementation of the Sustainable Water and Economic Empowerment Project SWEEP. The project is being implemented by the Women and Children Empowerment Program, a local NGO with support from the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation. Here's a report by Joy News' Upper East correspondent, Albert Sori.
The Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation is supporting the Sustainable Water and Economic Empowerment Project, SWEEP, with $14,000 funding from the United Nations Development Program, UNDP. The aim of the project is to reduce poverty. At least 120 farmers from 3 communities in the Boko West district have been supported to start dry season farms. The communities include Tili Azipumpunga, Dagunga and Farik, where the farmers have cultivated onions and other vegetables. Around 500 households are also estimated to be benefiting indirectly from this intervention. Gideon Ayadago is assembly member for Farik, one of the communities benefiting from the project.
For the past years, about 15 years, this dam was constructed. Till now, nobody is even benefiting out of this dam. And we have 35 acres of land. So far, UNDP and WhatsApp people have been able to support us this year. Fence almost 2 acres for us this year. And about 40 beneficiaries are enjoying it. For the past years, my women and the men all are in the forest, searching for food. Others were clearing the trees down, others illegal mining, and the women, some even ran and leave their husbands to Kumasi to sustain and care for their children. Today, I can stand here boldly to say the project has so far helped some of the women stop going to Kumasi, the illegal activities, and those felling of trees.
Speaking to Joy News, some of the beneficiaries of the Sustainable Water and Economic Empowerment Project said their livelihoods have improved since the inception of the project.
It has helped me a lot. I finished the onions and I now plant vegetables. If I convey them now to the market, I will sell a lot of money. My onions are that I plant. I farm and then I get 5 bags. And I didn't finish 2. Look at this plot going there. I will get 2.5 bags. This will support me.
Now I can afford my children's school fees and renew our health insurance because of the profits I have made here. I have even encouraged my fellow women who have traveled to Kumasi and other cities to do menial jobs to return home and join us here, she says. The project started in 2018 and will end in 2021. Sixtus Akanzinga Nso is the founder of the Women and Children Empowerment Program, WASEP Ghana, the NGO implementing the project.
With the impact that we are getting for now, the first batch of beneficiaries have harvested their onions. Some of them had about 3-4 bags, and they have also some have also harvested their tomatoes and cabbage. So we are getting a very good impact from them because they are using what has been sold to supplement or bring an increment to the family, the household income, which will translate to improved living conditions in the community and in the lives of the beneficiaries as a whole.
For Joy News, Albert Sori, reporting from the Boko West District.
Away from that, after several months of drinking dirty water, Amango Tideke, a village in the Volta region, now has its functional borehole flowing properly. A Joy News Safe Water campaign and a hotline documentary titled Left Behind puts the spotlight on how the first of 2 boreholes constructed for the people produced not a single drop of water, whilst the other gave them not more than a panful a day. This situation compelled the villagers to drink from a muddy stream nearby. Now, the stream has since dried up, but there is enough water to go around the community because engineers have corrected the anomaly which impeded flow of water from the borehole. Gifty Andwapia has more.
This is the first borehole the village received. Not just is it situated far away from the village, but it never produced water for them. In 2014, they got a new borehole from an NGO through then DCE Michael Ajaho after Joy News told the story. That borehole had a similar problem, producing a little above a pan of water a day. That situation compelled them to drink from a very dirty stream.
The water is dirty, but that is our only option. We have the borehole, but it does not collect water. We sometimes filter the water before drinking it. When I see the DCE, I will tell him to look at the water and use it. If the water is not good for him, then he should come and dig a good borehole for us.
I've come to check on the stream. The whole of this place used to be filled with water. At least that was the situation last year when I came here. And the people in Mangotileke depended on that water to augment a borehole that did not flow. Following the Hotline documentary, current DCE Dixon Jokwe told Joy News the assembly had provided water tankers for the village, a pronouncement which turned out to be false. The community is not happy.
The DCE promised us some water, but he didn't bring it. He didn't bring the water, and it's affecting the town. It bothered us a lot that he didn't bring the water. I would say he hasn't done well enough in that regard. He should do well and get us potable water.
Well, today, that dysfunctional borehole flows much better, as a couple of the men here demonstrate to me now. Member of Parliament for the area, Charles Agbeve, sent in engineers to fix the problem after the Hotline documentary left behind and the Joy News Safe Water project put a spotlight on the situation. The residents, however, still want a more sustainable solution to this water problem, and that is to connect pipes from the district assembly, where pipe-borne water flows every day, to the villages here. Gifty Andopia, Joy News, Mangotileke, Volta region.
From water to sugar, and residents of Komenda in the central region are expressing frustrations with government over the delay in reviving the sugar factory there. Although the factory has encountered several challenges even before the Akufo-Addo government assumed office, it promised to get the factory working. That promise is, however, yet to be fulfilled, and residents say they've had enough of the excuses. Richard Kojunyako sent in this report from Komenda.
So the 30th of May was when this Komenda sugar factory was commissioned by President John Dramani Mahama. It was the same day little Akosia was also born at the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. Now, next month, Akosia will be 3 years. Akosia is growing beautifully. But the Komenda sugar factory is simply refusing to grow. There are no activities here that would romance the machines in there to produce the sugar, the very purpose for which the Komenda sugar factory was established. Ever since it was commissioned, the structure is gradually rusting away. Now, ever since it was commissioned, days have been swallowed into weeks, weeks have been swallowed into months, and months have been swallowed into years. But here is the factory that stands idle. Isaac Bentumi used to work in the old Komenda sugar factory. In fact, he learned many skills here, but now he strolls by the Komenda sugar factory carrying a painful heart.
I am here, opening Akufo-Addo. This will be no sort of man, family working, Okodo. What I should know would you ma BBI, Sisiano.
I am sad at what is happening. I was looking forward to the continuation of the Komenda sugar factory after a change in government. By now, we should have been seeing vigorous planting of sugarcane to feed the factory. I have worked in the Komenda sugar factory for the past 17 years. I learned how to drive here. I used to drive Caterpillar and other machines. But now, it pains me that the factory has become a white elephant. So this is the Komenda town, and as you can see, a lot of people are gathered here. The young and the old are here. They are playing drafts. They tell me that it's because they don't have anything to do. They were hoping that the Komenda sugar factory would operate so that some of them would get some jobs to do.
Sugar factory,
my name is Mr. Oting. If the sugar factory were working, you wouldn't have come here to see us playing drafts. There is no job here apart from fishing. Now the fishing industry is not doing any better. We are pleading with government to make the Komenda sugar factory work. Our youth here have now turned into thieves and prostitutes.
Komenda factory.
It was our expectations that the government would make the sugar factory work. But nothing has happened to the Commander Sugar Factory. The money that was used to construct the factory is not a paltry amount. It is our own money that is being wasted. We want government to do something about it to get the factory running.
Na say aje infrastructure the bla obama men so no so wakoyedim
because edwuma no 1 year no aka he on so aye wo kro nim nti apere yesra abende on sugar factory no ombrado na wen ye edwuma wo kro na yen so ye pamade no yen so
we are pleading with government to make the sugar factory work. There is no job here. It has made some of us very vulnerable.
This
factory was constructed with a cost of $35 million, and the residents say it breaks their hearts to watch the factory waste away. The factory now is rusting away, standing idle with no activity to produce the sugar that has been touted about for years. From the Commander Sugar Factory, my name is Richard Kwejonya for Joy News.
Take this specific concern to Parliament because the Trade Minister has told the House last week that government will decide by the end of the month what to do with it after processes to identify a strategic investor are concluded. Joy News has meanwhile cited a technical committee report which revalues the factory at $12 million. And Member of Parliament for Commander Samuel Atamil says it would amount to armed robbery if government goes ahead to sell the factory, especially at that value.
If they are valuing this at $12 million, that is armed robbery. How can a country borrow $35 million to build a factory, and this factory was valued at $35 million when it was built? How come a very short time you are telling us that it's valued at $12 million? What happened to the $22 or $23 million? This is armed robbery. And I think the Auditor General needs to get involved. The Auditor General needs to get involved and then investigate. The Special Prosecutor needs to get involved and investigate. A factory, look, if the value was not $35 million, let us know about it. But how can we build a $35 million factory and then value it at $12 million? If it was the same company that valued at $35 million when NDC was in power, and it's now valuing at $12 million when MPP is in power, God forgive us.
You think there's something wrong somewhere?
Of course it has to be. Yeah, of course there has to be a problem somewhere. How come when NDC is in power it's a different price, and then when MPP is in power it's a different price? If that is what the reports show, I'll be very much surprised, and I wouldn't think an internationally renowned company like this will put its reputation on the floor like this.
Away from this story, the Tema Regional Police Commander DCOP Akofi Oyufi Edward says the police service will only be able to perform its mandate if properly resourced. He says maintaining law and order requires logistics and infrastructure, which the service is in dire need of. DCOP Akofi Oyufi is urging corporate bodies, individuals and organizations to partner the police in crime combat. Correspondent for Tema, Kwame Yanka, has more in this report.
Tema Regional Police Commander DCOP Akofi Oyufi Edward made the appeal for collaboration at the commissioning of a police post built by Tema Lube Oil Company within the industrial area. He says the industrial nature of Tema makes it prone to crime, and the police can only fight it with support from stakeholders.
The influx of these industrial and commercial workers equally increase criminal activities and pose security threats and challenges to the security agencies of the harbor city. Ladies and gentlemen, the police administration is determined to build the capacity of its personnel and resource them to meet the security challenges of modern societies. The police service needs improved structures and logistics to accomplish its constitutional mandate of maintaining law and order. It is in line with this that police-public partnership has become very significant in modern-day policing.
Managing Director of Temalube Oil, Amos Donko, is hopeful the 200,000 cedis police post will help enhance security.
Like we said at the inaugural ceremony, the Municipal Assembly thought that the companies in this metropolis should assist it in improving security in the metropolis. So we thought that this area, being an industrial area, with its accompanying security challenges, it would be good if we sited a police post here. So that is why we donated this to the Regional Police Command to enhance security within this vicinity and the Tema metropolis at large. For us at our place, we see them constantly patrolling the area and then giving us some security support. So we are very happy to also assist them to improve upon their operation or performance in this area.
Meanwhile, Tema metropolis.
We stay with the police, and the Mampong Divisional Police Command has expressed worry over challenges confronting personnel to effectively fight crime in the area. Police say inadequate personnel, vehicles, rifles and ammunition are among their major challenges. Though the police say they are doing their possible best to curb the situation, especially highway robbery, these challenges, if addressed, would boost their morale to fight crime. Divisional Police Commander Chief Superintendent Wisdom Lavo was addressing his colleagues when the Inspector General of Police visited the area. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin reports.
The Divisional Commander's statement corroborated what former Ejura Setredumase District Police Commander Chief Superintendent Kumaku Richardson told Joy News in November 2018. He said police had to use a passenger vehicle to an armed robbery scene where a driver was shot and killed because their official vehicle had broken down. Joy News checks at the time revealed 4 police patrol vehicles had all been grounded for various reasons. This is exactly what the district commander told us at the time.
Our car have a problem, so according to the leader of the team, said that one of the Shanyon car that the driver voluntarily give it to them to send to the scene. So that's what they use to the scene, and that thing happened.
But another concern the divisional commander raised is inadequate ammunition and appealed to the Inspector General of Police to deploy more to facilitate their operation. The Inspector General of Police later told areas where armed robbery cases have occurred to have first-hand information. He says he was alarmed by the situation and will do everything possible to address the challenge.
I came here with my Director General of Operations, the Acting Chief Staff Officer. The Regional Commander has been with me, and in the Northern Region we have been with the Regional Commander and his team. We have had discussions, and we have found certain measures that we must take to stem this tide. And we hope that when we are back in Accra, we're going to provide logistics that they require, especially human resource, so that they can manage these particular crimes effectively.
How long would that take?
Well, normally I will not want to give dates, but give us within a month and a half, logistics will be provided to manage the situation.
Well, until the challenges of this personnel are addressed, they may just have to improvise to fight crime. Mohammed Nuruddin's report for Joy News.
Coming up in business, new government statistician Professor Samuel Komna Enim says transparency will be his top priority during his tenure of office. Daryl has more after this.